How's it going, guys? Thank you for tuning into the video. My name is Nicholas with The Insurance Plug. I'm also the co-founder of Prosperity Health Group, a health insurance agency co-founded by me and my other partner, Julian Cancino. Recently, me and my team, we were out in Philadelphia for what's called SRG AEP kickoff event, something that they do annually. This is a group that we're partnered up with, one of the biggest FMOs pretty much in the whole industry. You had a ton of people out there who I'm sure you may or may not have heard of if you're familiar with the space. I'll kind of like flash the name of the logos for the companies that were there. And it made me start thinking about, because we're in a position where, we are very well connected with everyone that's in the industry. And I was thinking to myself, what would I do if I could start over, sort of, in a way? What can I do as an agent to put myself in the best position to get a big book of business, not as quick as possible, but in the most efficient manner. And it's really one of those things that once you get past year 1 and 2 and you have a system, you have a pipeline, you have referrals coming in, it just works itself, honestly, at that point. So how to really get past the first year or two and make sure everything is smooth sailing. And what is my background? So my background, I started off at a call center, did that for about 1.5 years. Immediately jumped in as an independent agent, worked out a startup agency similar to what I'm doing right now, but it wasn't my agency. Did that for about 1 year as well, and then started my own agency with me and my co-founder Julian. We started up our own agency, still actively selling, but now mainly on more so the management side, making sure training, recruiting, marketing, providing leads, all the fun stuff that comes outside of selling. So because our situation is a little bit different, we were very fortunate to meet the people that we have met to get us to where we're at right now. But I still interact with agents on the daily. I'm still an agent myself. So these are some of the things that I've picked up throughout all the people that I've met, and from personal experience. This is what I would do if I would have to restart as an independent agent. So starting off as an independent agent, one of the first things that you should identify is, do I have the capital to fund my business? And you might be thinking to yourself, what do you mean when you say business? Well, you're an agent, you have a license. This is effectively your own business. You are running your own business. When I go to someone, yeah, you might be underneath some sort of FMO, whatever the case may be. But when I go to Miss Betty's house and I hand her my business card, it's going to have my name, my face, my phone number, my email. That is my client for my business. So you are running your own business. Do you have the money to support that business? And what I mean by support it, you got to do marketing. You got to purchase leads. If you're not doing either of those, you don't have a business. So first things first is identify if you can afford to do that now, whether that's $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, whatever the case may be per month. That's up to you. You got to really see what your budget is. I would say, if you cannot invest $2,000 to $3,000 per month on leads and marketing, it's probably going to be a little bit rough for you, especially if your area is a bit saturated with agents, because there are free ways that you can go about generating leads. But again, that's all up to you as the individual, how bad do you want it. If you are low on cash and you cannot invest $2,000 to $3,000 per month on leads or marketing, I would suggest going into a route where you go under an FMO and you probably LOA yourself. Now, what does that mean? That's effectively the same thing as working at a call center. Typically, an arrangement like that will be that they will support you fully when it comes to leads, marketing. They'll give you all of that, but in exchange, you don't own that book of business. So you'll make a sale. I go to Miss Betty's house. The company that I'm with, they paid for the lead. They paid for that appointment. I just pull up to the house. I make the sale. They break me off whatever commission that, that company has set up. I receive it. Maybe I get residuals. Maybe I don't. That's up to the company again. But ultimately, I do not own that book of business. That book of business goes to the house or to the company that I'm with. And you might be looking at that and think, okay, well, that's not really fair. But you got to think as well, that company paid for your lead. They paid for the marketing. Therefore, they own the book of business. They cut you off a check for however much. The street level contract is $300. Whether they give you the full 300 or not, it's up to them. At the end of the day, they own that book. Therefore, they can also choose how much of that commission that you get. Whether it's 200, 250, 275, it's up to them. So if you are someone who's in a position where, again, you don't have that much capital, I think that would be the route to go, just to get your feet wet, get some momentum going, build up a little bit of a pipeline for yourself. And then after a while, you take full control of that book of business and you go from there. And of course, the opposite of that, if you do have the capital, you're going to be purchasing leads and you're going to be doing your marketing. Now, leads is going to be is the biggest thing when it comes to being an agent in any sort of industry, right? Because that's how you make your sales, by leads. You can do Facebook advertising, you can buy digital leads, you can do your own sort of grassroots approach. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about it. I guess we can start off with some of the free ways to do it, which would be things like, first of all, if you're an independent agent, wherever you are, you got to tap into your local broker managers. And what that is, that's like your Humana broker manager, your Aetna, Cigna, United Healthcare. Talk to your local broker managers, get in contact with them, because these people will help put you in, a Walmart or Walgreens, local pharmacy. They might help you with the tabletop. They might be able to feed you leads as well. So these are people that you do want to make connections with, because at the end of the day, you making sales ultimately helps them as well. So get in contact with them. This is a free resource that you have to help you generate leads. Another one, can be doing things like going to local churches in your community, food drives, anything that involves helping out the community. You want to be getting involved. The more, and you don't even want to go there with the intent of selling the first few times. You really just want people to get familiar with you. And then after they see you for the fourth or fifth time, they might be interested, come up to you, start some small talk with, oh, okay, like, what do you do? Oh, I sell health insurance. Now from there on, it's not like you pulled up there on the first day with a sign saying, ask me about Medicare. It just kind of organically happened, right? They've seen you there X amount of times. They've built a relationship with you. Out of curiosity, they ask, what do you do as an occupation? You tell them health insurance. They already like you, so they're more inclined to actually follow through after you tell them that. Little things like 55 plus communities. If you want to host a bingo night or fund one of their events that goes on in the community, that's a very good way to get involved. It is highly likely there is already an agent in that space. I know where I live, there's a ton of different communities, but there's also a ton of agents as well. So they're already pretty saturated for the most part. So find any sort of local niche things that you can do, maybe like a Goodwill. If you can support something like that, a Salvation Army, any little food drives, food banks, any stuff like that. It's free. You can go ahead, hop in there, volunteer, do what you got to do. Just get yourself out there in the community, really. Now, when it comes to purchasing leads, I'm not going to go about what my specific lead vendors are. That can be a separate video. But purchasing leads, it's just a thing, right? You're going to have to do it. One main one that I'm sure everyone is doing at some sort of capacity is self-generating leads, whether that's Facebook, YouTube, Google. It is a really, really good way. Once, if you're going to eat shit in the beginning, you're going to trial and error. You just kind of have to do it like that. no matter if you copy someone's format or not, you're gonna eat shit eventually. You gotta tweak things to see what works and what doesn't work, and you're gonna constantly be tweaking stuff. I mean, I've been running ads for a little while, and there's always certain things that you gotta tweak a little bit here or there with this campaign or that campaign. I think that's the biggest one, is just self-generating leads. And obviously the main goal is you want to get that CPA down as low as possible, but I would not make that your sole focus. As long as you're getting clicks on there and you're actually able to convert those leads at some sort of capacity, especially in the very beginning, I mean, that's a win. Because you think about it, if you get something like, if you're doing a T65 campaign, let's say your total CPA, you generate 30 leads, it costs you $400 for all 30 of those leads. You sell one IEP and you already make that money back. So obviously you want to get it down as low as possible, but don't stress about it in the very beginning. Wait until you have a consistent flow of leads coming in, fine tune it, and then you're good. But I definitely would make that a focus to get down the process of generating your own leads rather than relying on other lead vendors. Because if CMS comes out with something and this lead vendor goes, oh well, I'm pulling out of this area because CMS, or the leads just become shit, or volume just dies out, you don't want to be left without anything. So make that a focus to understand the process of generating your own leads on Facebook, Google, and YouTube, and you'll be good. It's a bit vague, but yeah, there's other digital lead sources. You use the same thing when it comes to Facebook. It's just trial and error. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but what we do, it's like pre-scoped in-person appointments. That's been a really huge one for us. Conversion rates very well. One thing you want to see, or one thing you do want to ask when approaching a lead vendor, and if they can't give you this information, they're most likely shit. Ask them what the national conversion rate is. If they can't pull up simple numbers like that, I wouldn't even bother. It's probably shit. But if it's anything, I would say anything, well, yeah, anything below 30%, I probably wouldn't touch. There's just no point. For mailers, it's a little bit different, but mailers are shit. I think the return rate's like 1%, if that. So mailers are pretty shit. Another really great way of generating leads is by hosting seminars. And there are companies out there that will actually help you pack those seminars, because it's one thing to host one, but you actually need people to come in, or else what you just spend all that money and time for. So you can host a seminar like a restaurant or something. I know around me, a popular place to do it is something like a Golden Corral or a Duffy's. You just rent out the room, bring in about 25, 30, 40 people, however much it can hold. Do it around lunch, dinner. Yeah. Have a little presentation ready, Medicare 101 presentation, or whatever you want to make it for. If this is around the annual enrollment period, maybe you want to gear it towards more so of that. Something else that me and my team have been doing recently that's been getting a decent amount of success is hosting webinars. So essentially the same thing, but just digitally, for those who maybe don't want to make the drive or don't want to go out, don't want to interact with other people. Perfectly fine. Webinar, very easy. Hop on a Zoom, Teams, whatever, doesn't matter. Same sort of presentation that you would make, just do it digitally. And I find this to work pretty well. And then after the fact, what you can do, you can set it up to a way that for people to join the webinar, they have to fill out some sort of an RSVP form with the first name, last name, phone number, email, maybe even zip code, and potentially a question on there where they fill out like, hey, what are you interested in learning more about? And I can say Medicare Advantage, Original Medicare, Medicare Supplement, all of the above, something like that. That way you have that information filled out, and then whether or not they actually do end up attending the webinar, you have that piece of information. You can reach out and do whatever you need to do. Well, not do whatever you need to do, but you can reach out and you can call, text, do your thing. And then for those who actually do attend the webinar, you can set up some sort of an automation to where After it's over, you can send like a little calendar invite link. So, if they do have any further questions, they can just book an appointment with you, and you can make mention to that in the webinar as well. You can also do a pre-recorded webinar. That's something that I like to use also. So I'll have a link to a landing page that'll just take them to a pre-recorded webinar. It'll be the actual webinar on top, and below it will be a calendar. That way, if they're watching the video and they do have any further questions, they can just book the calendar, or they can just book the appointment right there. And also too, the way that it's set up is that I think it's 5 or 3 minutes into the video, if you want to continue the video, you have to actually fill out a form, or else the video is just not going to continue to play. So that's another way that you can capture some intent, you can capture some information, and you actually know that they're engaging with your content. I guess that's really it when it comes to leads, without getting too specific. After that, I would say look into getting some sort of a CRM, something that you can help automate retention, because it's one thing to sign up 100 people, but if you can only keep 15 or 25 of those people that you signed up, well, now you're fucked, because you just got a ton of chargebacks. So retention is huge, and once you start building up that book of business, I promise you it's going to be harder and harder to keep up with all those people. Once you start hitting that range of 300 people, it's, you damn near need an assistant at that point to just help you maintain the retention. So a really good useful tool for that is a CRM. You can take a look and see which ones you guys like. I have a system that's built out that works well for me and my team. If you guys want more information about that, you can message me privately. I do have the link to my Instagram below, so you can message me about the CRM if you're interested in that. Yeah, find something where you can automate a lot of processes, like reaching out to your clients a couple days after the enrollment, on their birthdays, holidays, 3 days after you just sign them up for the enrollment, follow-ups for the annual enrollment period, or just periodically throughout the year. There's a lot you can do with a really good CRM, and you want something organized so that you have everyone all in a specific area, rather than, like handwritten notes, or just something on your notes on your phone or your laptop. Just makes it a lot easier. That's really the main focal points, leads, having a functional CRM. When it comes to marketing, you can do things that I'm doing right now, like recording this YouTube video. That's a great way to push your content out there for free. Social media, of course. Well, YouTube is social media, but creating a Facebook page, creating a LinkedIn, you're really going to utilize it for getting connected with people in the industry. Facebook, that's going to be your main one that you want to put Medicare beneficiary content out there. It doesn't really make sense to do that on LinkedIn. You're not going to get any clients. Maybe you will, but you want to post more Medicare related stuff on your Facebook. Something like like a Medicare fun fact. You might do that, or post a picture of you at the 55 plus community. You're going to want to post stuff like that on your Facebook, just so other people can see that, other Medicare eligible people can see that, and you look more trustworthy. Do all that stuff, build up a couple reviews on your page, yada yada, whatever the case may be. Do that. Posting content on your social media, so obviously Facebook, you can do it on Instagram as well, TikTok even, but short form content, that's the way to go. Best way to get your views up, get your page recognized a little bit more, is by posting short form content. So you can do stuff like that, and there's tons of examples out there. You can literally just look up Medicare content, or just Medicare, look at shorts, reels, whatever. Do that. YouTube is a great way for getting more informational stuff out there. So maybe if you have something a little bit more drawn out, like explaining the different parts of part A, B, C, and D, you can do that. You can make a long form video. That's what I would really utilize YouTube for, rather than just doing shorts, because you can do that on social media. For YouTube, I would just keep it for long form content. When it comes to what you should really focus on selling, me personally, I would just focus solely on Medicare Advantage and a little bit of Medicare supplement. This year is going to be a bit crazy with the Inflation Reduction Act, so we'll see how that affects Medicare subs. But I would just focus on Medicare Advantage and Medicare supplement. Of course, know other things as well, like how to cross-sell a hospital indemnity plan, cancer, heart attack, and stroke policies, different stuff like that. Like if you got to throw in a supplemental dental, vision, or hearing plan, definitely by all means, you want to know how to do that, and you want to know which carriers offer the best rates for your clients and which companies are going to pay you out the best as well. But you know, in terms of, let me get my life license so I can do this and do that. Definitely, listen, I'm not going to tell you don't do it. I'm not going to tell you do it. My thing is you want to maximize your potential in one area. You want to become a master at one thing. And if you're trying to juggle life, if you're trying to juggle final expense, if you're trying to juggle this, and that, you're going to kind of overwhelm yourself with all the options you have, when I think you should really just focus on one thing and master that. Once you've written like 200, 300 Medicare Advantage plans, I mean, you can even do this. You can sell that person, and this is what I do. Let's say you make 100 sales during AEP. Boom, made those 100 sales, all Medicare Advantage, double back in OEP or even Roy, and then sell them on the hospital indemnity, sell them on the cancer, heart attack, and stroke, or maybe you even do it in the same sitting. Sometimes I'll do it in the same sitting with the hospital indemnity. But maybe in the rest of the year, if you do have your life license, you can double back and throw on the final expense, or you can even sell them a life insurance policy itself. If you have someone in-house who does it, you can send them the referral, catch a little split, get a little referral bonus from it. But I wouldn't stress yourself about trying to get every single license so you can sell everything, because truthfully, at the end of the day, you're more than likely going to end up feeling more comfortable with one product over the other and just end up selling majority of that anyways. So it'll all set itself out. So what should you project numbers wise within your first year? So just to make it easy, let's say you start off during the annual enrollment period. You start right before the annual enrollment period. I would say for your first year, 100 sales, that's a good target. Even 75 is a good target, especially if you have no sort of pipeline, you have no referrals, you're going clean into the business. I would say 75, 100 sales, that's a good number. If you have more cash to burn for leads, 125, 150, great numbers. Like if you're really out there hustling, I mean, you got 7 weeks. So better be working Saturday and Sunday, because this is your opportunity to make a shit ton of money. 100 sales, let's just go with that number. 100 sales, that's solid. You're looking at like $30,000. That's just pure profit. That doesn't factor in any money that you spent on leads. So, maybe you spent $5,000 during AEP. So you're really looking at $25,000 after, you factor all that in, maybe even less, who knows? For OEP, which is a 3-month period, you can look at, let's just say 20 to 25 sales per month during OEP. I mean, that'd be good as well. Let's just say 20 for every single month during Roy. So 20, let's just say that you take off the month of September. So, Jesus Christ. So 160 sales for the rest of the year, plus your 100 that you made during AEP. So you're looking at 260 sales by the end of year 1. So going into year 2, you're going to have 260 people on your book of business. That is 260 people that you're going to be getting renewals for, $26 a month. But it probably go up by then. It might be $30 by then. Who knows? But yeah, 260 people renewing on your book of business, $226 per month. That is going to be, let me get my calculator, 260 times 26, you're looking at $6,760 per month after year one. If you're literally just to multiply that same sort of production, so 260 times 2, you're looking at 520 people on your book of business. At the end of year 2, going into year 3, now you have 520 people renewing at $26 per individual. So 520 times 26. Now your monthly revenue is $13,520. This is not from new sales. This is by simply just retaining your book of business, calling up Mrs. Betty. Hey, Mrs. Betty, you still like your plan? Yes, you do. Talk to you on Thanksgiving. Boom. $13,000. It's not bad. Year 3. At this point, you have over 500 people on your book of business. I would look into getting an assistant to manage that book of business. I probably wouldn't even be selling that much. At this point, I'm looking into how can I start teaching other people to do this and write business for me, which is the role that I transition into now with Prosperity Health Group, which is the agency that I have. That's how I would do it. You know, spend a little time as an agent, build up that book of business, make sure that you have that monthly revenue coming in, teach other people how to do it, and make them sell for you. Well, not make them sell for you, but have them sell for you. You have two different pathways. Can you fund your book of business? Can you fund your business? Can you not? If you can't, no worries. I will fund everything for you. In exchange, this is my book of business. Do you still get paid out nicely? Of course. Do you still get residuals? Of course. That's how we do it. You don't want to fuck people over. You don't want to make people feel like not being able to own, like being in LOA is a bad thing, because it's not. It's still a very, fucking LOAs the LOAs in my agency are probably, some of them are making more than the street agents. And that's also because they produce a lot more. But, and for those who can't afford to run their business but still need some sort of a support, give them some sort of like a 50-50%, marketing or lead support. Hey Nick, I want to drop $5,000 for this lead vendor. Is that like, let's do it. I'll go ahead, check out the lead vendor. Does it look good? Okay, cool. Like, I'll put in 5,000 with you. Boom, boom, 50-50. Now, instead of him only having $5,000 worth of leads, now he has $10,000, and that's just more for him to eat. Whatever arrangement works for you. When you get to that level, when you want to be an agent, an agency owner, there's a whole lot that goes into it. Yeah, that's the video. I don't have anything else to say. I feel like I'm dragging this on. If there's any specific topics that you guys do want me to cover, drop them below in the comments. Other than that, take care, guys. Thank you for tuning in.